Good morning. Ribhu Gita, chapter 23. The exposition of the truth of Advaita, non-duality. 1. To strengthen the knowledge of the undivided Supreme Brahman. I shall tell you further, noble soul, the conclusion that it is only Brahman, the mass of existence, consciousness, bliss, that is ever changeless, and all this duality never exists. The non-dual conclusion is the quintessence of the Vedas. 2. Differences, there are none. No difference, no difference. There's nothing that causes differences. There are no elements or anything composed of the elements. There's no world, no objects of the world. No cause, no qualities, nothing at all. There's nothing that manifests itself here as this. The undivided expanse of knowledge, without beginning or end, the Supreme Brahman is the one reality. 3. There's nothing big or small or medium, no back, no front, nothing in between, nothing difficult, nothing easy, nothing in between, nothing belonging to others, nothing one's own, nothing in between, nothing singular, nothing dual, nothing in between. Nothing interior, nothing exterior, nothing indeed at all. What is completely, perfectly full, the changeless consciousness itself, is the peaceful, Supreme Brahman alone. 4. There's nothing that is all, or a little, or both. None that are real or unreal, or both. No happiness or sorrow, or both. No purity or impurity, or both. Nothing lowly or exalted, or both. No here or hereafter, nor anything at all. What is universally perfectly full, the undivided consciousness, the changeless, is only Brahman. 5. There is no inquiring disciple, nor is there a guru. There is no knowledge to impart, no ignorance, no sorrowful bondage or liberation, no duality or non-duality, nothing happy and auspicious or inauspicious, no I, no you, nobody at all. What is an expanse of knowledge without anything apart, undivided, changeless, is Brahman alone. 6. There's no foolishness, no mind, no intellect, no blinding egoity, no thought, no objects, no object perceiving senses, no karma, no individual jiva affected by karma, no body, no experiencer of the body, no life, nothing, ever. What is firm and without an atom of anything to perceive is of the nature of the perceiver, the Supreme Brahman. 7. There's no such thing as enjoyment, no enjoyer who enjoys, no object of enjoyment, no satisfaction, no infatuated fool, no discriminating wise man, none liberated, none in bondage, no seeker after liberation, none differentiated as a devotee, no devotion, no bondage, no soul, nor a lord. What exists ever as the one, complete and perfectly full, the changeless consciousness, is only Brahman. 8. There's no desire, no fruits sought, no action indulged with desire, no worship, no God to worship, no results of worship, no talking, no subject of which to talk, no results derived by talk. What exists as the permanent, perfectly full, changeless, eternal consciousness is Brahman alone. 9. There are no modes of the mind, such as desire, no misleading sankalpas, concepts or volition, fixed ideas, and vikalpas, doubts, notions, differentiation, imaginations. No sextet of changes like birth, no triad of states like wakefulness, no fourth state transcending wakefulness, no variety of thoughts to pursue. What is ever without the least thing to see, and is ever of the nature of the seer, is Brahman alone. 10. There's nothing of premise or conclusion, nothing of good company or bad company, nothing of knowing or the knowable, nothing of inquiry or practicing. None here who are the guru and the disciple, nothing of goal or reaching the goal. What exists as the defectless, perfectly full mass of knowledge is Brahman alone. 11. There's no holy bath or holy waters or holy shrines, no dharma, no God, no service to gods, no decay, no development, none experiencing these, no charity, no individuality, nothing, no knowledge, no devotion, no actions enjoined, not an atom of knower and knowledge and such. What exists as the faultless reality, the shining consciousness of the nature of bliss, is the supreme Brahman alone. 12. There is no world with its gradations, no world such as the nether regions, no objects such as cloth and pot, nothing such as cause and effect, nothing as the manifold cosmic conglomerate, no experiencer of each one of these. What has not the least insentience is full of consciousness, and without a trace of the world, jivas, and the Supreme, is Brahman alone. 13. There's nothing that becomes depleted or becomes full, nothing which stands off or fraternizes, nothing which adheres or separates. No earning of victory or defeat, nothing at all of knowing or remembering, no triad of afflictions, such as intrinsic nature and such. What is blemishless, attributeless, the eternal, the ever-present consciousness, is the supreme Brahman alone. 14. There's no triad of sattva and other qualities, no variety of religions like Shaiva and others, Shaiva, no wondrous Vedantic religion, no varieties of Agama and other scriptures, no word to explain non-duality, nor any word to explain the identity of the individual and the Supreme Self. What exists as the pure, complete, perfectly full nature, beyond the reach of words, is only Brahman. 15. There's nothing as man or woman, nothing non-moving or moving, nor anything as all. There's no sky, no wind, no fire, no water, no earth, no senses, no seeing or hearing or appearing, and nothing that is ever imagined as seen. What exists as that which is beyond the compass of speech and such, and which is limitless, is Brahman alone. 16. There is none dear, none good, none wicked, nothing mundane or religious, nothing short or long, nothing black or white or red, no gain or loss or in between, no name or form, and nothing manifold. The only thing that exists without anything to be seen is Brahman alone. 17. There are no divisions of caste or orders of society, no praiseworthy peace or self-control, no righteousness, no unrighteousness, dharma and adharma, no defect, no quality, none with qualities, no existence or non-existence, no delusion and no consequences of delusion. What exists as the unfragmented and perfectly full, the differenceless consciousness, is Brahman alone. 18. There is nothing as praising or denigrating, none to do the praising, nothing of encomium or impeachment, no defectless injunctions or prohibitions, no various manuals prescribing these, nothing as oneself and others, nothing at all apart, nothing without blemish, and nothing that is a blemish, and nothing at all. What always exists as the completely perfectly full and changeless consciousness is Brahman alone. 19. There is nothing of birth with growth and other bodies, no childhood, youth, or senility, no troublesome death, no birth, no relative here, no non-relative, no friends or foes of which to speak, and no divisions such as the worlds beyond. What exists with not an atom apart, changeless and undivided, is Brahman alone. 20. There are no directions or directionlessness, or the guardians of the directions. No Hara, no Hari, no Brahma, no multitude of gods or demons, no men, no beasts, no reptiles or plant life such as forests. What exists as the infinite supreme consciousness space, the supreme reality, the divisionless, is Brahman alone. 21. There's nothing as the experiencer of the individuals in the waking state. There's nothing as the cosmic experiencer in the waking state. There's no auspicious force state or its experiencer. No five sheets, such as food and physical body and others. No mixture of wrong suppositions. Nothing of the world, individuals, and the supreme that seem real. What exists undivided, with not an atom of it perishable, is the supreme Brahman alone. 22. There's never anything illusory. No time, no space, no object. No contemplation that consciousness is Brahman. No bhava, conviction of thought, that all is consciousness. No differentiation such as Brahman is the only reality. No differentiation such as Brahman alone being reality. What exists without a trace of difference, undivided and unwavering, is Brahman alone. 23. There's nothing as measuring, nor anything measurable, nothing gigantic, nothing atomic, nothing in between. No knower, nothing to be known, no knowing. No triads to remember, no delusion that makes one think of me and mine, and no blemish of transmigration, none of any of these at all. What exists, limitless as the sky, the undivided consciousness space, is Brahman alone. 24. There's nothing sentient as the knower. There's nothing sentient as the object of knowledge. There's nothing sentient as the means of valid knowledge. There's nothing sentient of any other kind. There's nothing created, none who creates. What exists indivisible, without material modification or illusory transmigration, is Brahman alone. 25. There are no vasanas of the mind. There are no functions of the mind. There's no worldly existence like wakefulness. There's no worldly minded person seeking these. There never is sorrowful duality, not an atom of sorrow or happiness. What exists unwavering. Excuse me, let me have a look. What exists unwavering, undivided, completely perfectly full with nothing apart, is Brahman alone. 26. There's nothing such as the manifestations of duality, that the attached body is myself and the world is real. There's nothing such as the witness mode, that I am the witness and all else is a part. There's nothing such as the undivided mode, which has the awareness that I indeed am the individual supreme with nothing apart. What is devoid of any divisive modes and is differenceless is Brahman alone. All the modes of the mind do not arise. All the modes of the mind do not get destroyed. There's no appearance of all the modes of the mind. There's no disappearance of the modes of the mind. There's no existence of the modes of the mind. There's no non-existence of the modes of the mind. What exists without all the modes of the mind and ever peaceful is Brahman alone. 28. There's no witness aspect at all of all the developments of the mind. There's no thought of all the bhava, the conviction of oneself being Brahman, such as I am Brahman and Brahman is myself, does not have the least existence. There are no divisions such as all and witness, and Brahman, and the nature of the self of all. What exists totally unaffected by any divisions as the one undivided consciousness is Brahman alone. 29. There is no darkness, no light, no space, no samadhi, no knower of Brahman, none as a great personage, or the greater or the greatest, or any others. Nothing exists ever, never is there anything. One who has acquired the undivided knowledge that all that exists is Brahman, of the nature of consciousness, and that Brahman am I, is the one liberated from the bondage of mundane misery. 30. One who has not attained this undivided knowledge of Brahman is indeed very unfortunate. One who has not attained this undivided knowledge of the Supreme Brahman is indeed intensely sick. One who has attained the beneficial undivided knowledge of the Supreme Brahman is the one liberated from the cycle of birth and death. Hence all seekers after liberation should, by one means or another, attain the undivided knowledge of the Supreme. 31. One who has the conviction that all is the undivided Supreme Brahman, and that Brahman is myself, and attains this firm experience in himself, becomes of the nature of that undivided Brahman, and rid of all the sankalpas, the concepts or fixed ideas, and vikalpas, the notions, doubts, imaginations, and differences of the faulty mind, becomes liberated from the bondage of worldly misery. There's not an atom of doubt of what is said. I say this in the name of Shiva. This is the greatest truth. 32. Even if learned with all sorts of rare education, the ignoramus who has not attained the knowledge of the One Supreme, that all is Brahman and Brahman is myself, shall never cross the formidable ocean of transmigration. Only he who has attained the pure supreme knowledge, indescribable by words, can easily crossing the difficult ocean of worldly existence, reach the shore of the perfectly full Brahman. 33. Only he who has attained the steadfast conviction of the undivided Supreme is the sage in this world. Only he who has obtained the ineradicable conviction of the undivided Supreme is of the nature of the Supreme Brahman. I have explained to you, Nidaga, this rare truth, as taught to me earlier by the Supreme Lord. Whoever hears this flawlessly and with love, even once, will become himself Brahman. 34. There's nothing singular, dual, or plural. Nothing with form or formless. No bewilderment or clear perception. No mind at all. Nothing great, nothing trivial, nothing else. No world or individual or lord. No cause or effect or any such thing. The luminous Supreme Shiva, unaffected by any darkness, is alone that which is ever the One. 35. The only reality is the Supreme Shiva, who is in the natural state of being without illusion, like Maya, who is of the greatest of the great, who is the greatest of the great, without attachment, who is not capable of being measured, has none nor any instrument to measure it, who is of the nature of the immensely great self of the world, who is friendly and is unsurpassed bliss, who is permanent purity and full of consciousness, and who is the One, the bondageless, the eternal, and of the nature of the liberated. 36. Only he who has known the mighty Shiva, of the nature of knowledge, and which is the illuminator of such luminaries as the sun, will by the words of the Vedas, such as the Rig and others, by the words of the Guru who teaches these, by the steady reflection of reasoning, and by uninterrupted meditation, become himself the undivided, exalted Shiva, of the nature of the seer of all, and be rid of the scene that is the bondage of the world. 37. Only one who has known the nature of Shiva as consciousness will attain the undivided supreme liberation that consists in being established verily as the non-dual, perfectly full Shiva, being rid of all birth, senility, death, pain and disease, and being ever devoid of any appearance of duality. This is the truth. Thus the great Guru Ribhu explained to Nidaga. 38. It is the infinite form of our God of gods, in a state of faultless, joyous dance, that firmly proclaims the truth, that it is only the eternal, partless, delusionless Absolute that remains, after negating all things, to show that the elements and other manifestations are all ever unreal, non-existent, non-existent. Is the last verse, I'll read it one more time. It is the infinite form of our God of gods. This one. It is the infinite form of our God of gods in a state of faultless, joyous dance that firmly proclaims the truth that it is only the eternal, partless, delusionless Absolute that remains after negating all things to show that the elements and other manifestations are all ever unreal, non-existent, non-existent. It's the end of chapter 23. Have a great day. Bye for now.